Hello, I'm Jeff Teeper, Corporate Vice President of Microsoft 365 collaboration with Microsoft Teams, SharePoint, and OneDrive. And I'm excited to be here with you for Microsoft Build 2022. We're going to share with you how developers around the world can enable new forms of work and learning using the latest tools from Microsoft. To start things off, I'll hand it over to Charles to talk about why new app patterns are changing the way organizations digitally transform.
Thanks, Jeff. Hi, everyone. I'm Charles Lamanna, Corporate Vice President of Business Apps and Platform at Microsoft. We are so excited to be here with you at Microsoft Build. We are going to talk about two important new patterns for developers. The first is a new application type. It's called collaborative apps, which are interwoven into collaborative surfaces like chats and meetings to surface relevant data and processes right where people are working. It is the first new app type since mobile apps changed the world over a decade ago. The second is a new way to build applications. It's called low-code, which integrates seamlessly with pro-code development tools. Low-code makes it easy to build web, mobile, and collaborative apps faster than ever before. Over the next 5 years, we expect 500 million new applications to be created. Developers will need to use low-code to keep up and build many of these apps, and they will also need to infuse collaboration into these apps. Together, Microsoft 365 and the Power Platform are delivering experiences and tools designed for developers to embrace these two new patterns and accelerate development. With over 270 million monthly active users, Microsoft Teams has become the platform for hybrid work. And the use of third-party and custom apps in Teams has grown 10 times over the last 2 years. These are all collaborative apps. At the same time, over 7 million developers are now using the Power Platform to build solutions that are in use in organizations around the world. These are all now low-code developers. Today, we are excited to share news about these products, including welcoming a 5th member to the Power Platform family. But before we jump in, let's take a look at a customer story. Our customers are showing us the many ways Teams and the Power Platform can enable their developers. Lumen Technologies was an early adopter of Teams and the Power Platform, and Lumen is a perfect example of how bringing apps and workflows into Teams drives real business outcomes and improved user experiences. Before I hand it back to Jeff, let's hear a bit more about the awesome work they're doing.
At Lumen, we're all about the next-gen technology and connecting the consumer with what we're doing and with the business.
We have smart people at Lumen. They come up with ideas, and if you don't provide them a platform, they figure out a way to do it themselves. And Teams is a great gateway for that. Teams is a fantastic platform for collaboration. But beyond collaboration, you can surface different Power Apps into your Teams solution.
For our more experienced developers, the Power Platform removes a lot of the work that you have to do up front. There's also the ability to just quickly create your canvas and then move your code in behind it. I can just drag and drop. I have the ability now to actually go in and look at my Power Effects, and I can see how all this actually flows. Another area is the API access to Dataverse. And we have the pro developer who's seeing what's happening there, and that's happening with our citizen developer and our maker, and now they're coming together. We've created 3,800 Power Apps and close to 8,500 flows with our makers at Lumen. The thing that I'm most proud of is this community that has just organically grown. It's this ability to support each other. It's the best thing I've ever done in my career.
Let's dive into collaborative apps. Building collaborative apps with Microsoft Stack means developers can take advantage of market-leading collaborative experiences, gain critical compliance and security safeguards, and leverage the data and AI capabilities built into our products. There are two complementary ways in which developers can connect with Teams and its collaborative fabric. First, you can bring your app into Teams leveraging its many extensibility points. You can use standard web technologies and tools like JavaScript and Visual Studio Code, or use low-code Power Platform tools. These apps can be accessed anywhere users can access Teams across Windows, Mac, iOS, Android devices, and more. Second, you can bring the collaborative capabilities of Teams into your existing app using Graph APIs, Azure Communication Services, or Power Platform. With these two patterns, apps in teams or teams in your apps, you can also leverage the power of the Microsoft Graph to build smarter experiences. With Graph, your apps can unlock insights from communications and collaboration patterns, enhance context and relevance of the application experience. With over 270 million users of Microsoft Teams and growing, Teams is the biggest economic opportunity for developers to enable hybrid work and learning. It's called Build for a reason. So let's show you how you can start creating new or extend existing apps for Teams. We'll start with a developer preview of the Teams.js 2.0 SDK, which provides features that will soon let developers bring their apps to other Microsoft 365 surfaces, including Outlook and Office.com. Just one example. Developers can build rich adaptive cards that unfurl from message extensions in Teams and soon Outlook, which our partners like Zoho are using to create more engagement with their applications. The Teams Toolkit for Visual Studio Code, which I'm excited to announce, is now generally available. Also, the Teams Toolkit for Visual Studio 2022 is available today in preview. And so I'd like to invite my colleague Sukhmani to show you more.
Thanks, Jeff. The Teams Toolkit for Visual Studio Code is the best way to get started building apps for Teams. The toolkit allows you, as a developer, to create, build, debug, and publish apps for Teams across web and mobile devices in minutes. Teams Toolkit in Visual Studio Code saves you time by automating configuration across portals, iterating faster with a rapid inner development loop, and deliver confidence using CI/CD deployment workflows. The first step in Teams Toolkit is to select Create a new Teams app. I want my app to notify me with stale GitHub issues as a reminder each day. So I'm selecting the notification bot option with a timer trigger. Once the project is created, I can run and debug right away. The toolkit helps with all the configuration needs to set up a new Teams app. Here's my new app running in Teams, and I already have a message with my notification. I want to customize this, so I'm going to change a few project files. First, I'll change the adaptive card. This is the UI for my message. I'll select the Preview and Debug Adaptive Cards hint to preview my edits directly inside VS Code. This gives me a side-by-side visual that updates as I change my adaptive card. And finally, I'm pasting in some code to get my stale GitHub issue using this GraphQL query and updating the function to use that data. Let's run the app again to see our new notification message in action. I'm going to add an SSO-enabled tab to my app. This gives me a way to display web content from my app, and the toolkit includes some sample components that use Fluent UI React to make it easier to look and feel like Teams. And now, the toolkit can also run and debug your apps in Teams, Outlook, and Office. Back to you, Jeff.
Thanks, Sukhmani. With the shift to hybrid, intuitive collaboration on apps and content inside meetings will become more important than ever. Last fall, we announced the ability for apps to launch onto the meeting stage. Several partners like Miro, Envision, and Mural took advantage of this to enable better meeting collaboration. Today, we are excited to announce Live Share, a first-of-its-kind interactive experience for scenarios like co-editing and co-watching in the center stage of a Teams meeting powered by Fluid technology. With our Teams Client SDK extensions in preview, you can enable live share experiences for your apps in the center stage of a meeting, transforming app sharing from a one-directional experience to a truly collaborative co-engagement experience. Let's show you how easy it is to add this to your app. I have a Teams app with a few capabilities, including a bot and link unfurling that lets me share a video to the meeting stage. When I press play, it only plays for me. That's not very collaborative, so let's fix that. First, I'm going to define the object schema. I'm going to sync using the new ephemeral media session shared object for that. Then I initialize the Teams Fluid client and then call the join container method to create the Fluid container. I can set the synchronizer by passing my HTML5 player to that media session. And next, I call the start method, passing in the roles that I can control for playback. And then set the event handlers to manage the play, pause, and seek commands. Now, I've spent a bit more time on this app before, so let me join my team meeting with Ashley, who is one of the developers who helped us create LiveShare, and we'll show you how this works. Hi, Ashley. Hey, everyone.
Hi, Jeff. I've installed the final app. Click it and you can see the videos. I'll pick one to start.
This looks great. The playback works and the video remains in sync.
It's easy to sync video using LiveShare's ephemeral media objects. And it's not just video. Because LiveShare is backed by Fluid, your app can share and sync any state across all the clients in the meeting. Why don't you add another video to the queue?
Okay. Done. Let's watch it together. This is great, Ashley. Thanks for all the work that you and your colleagues did to make LiveShare.
You're welcome, Jeff. It was a great team effort.
This use case of co-watching just scratches the surface. This next capability is coming soon in the summer. You'll be able to display adaptive cards as live, actionable loop components with minimal code, as our partner Zoho has done. Your users can make decisions and take actions like updating the status of a ticket right in the flow of work using a loop component. And updates are always live, like this one across Outlook, Teams, and Zoho. One partner who's building a Teams app to better serve their customers is Figma. We use Figma as our primary design tools for Teams and many Microsoft products, so I'm particularly excited about our work together. The Figma app for Teams, which is coming soon, will leverage the new adaptive card functionality. When a link to a Figma file is shared, the card unfurls so I can preview the file, start a meeting from that window, and even respond to comments in Figma without ever leaving Teams. The app also makes it possible to subscribe to Figma notifications inside Teams so that you never miss a beat. In addition to moving this design forward asynchronously, the new app also lets me access Figma and FigJam in a meeting. What that means is I can easily share a Figma design file in a meeting in the center stage, and everyone can review it directly as we discuss it. And finally, we are deepening Teams integration with Power Platform's low-code tools. Coming soon, Collaboration Controls lets Power Apps developers embed Microsoft 365 collaboration features like Teams chats and task components and more right inside your Power Apps. And speaking of Power Platform, Charles teased a big announcement earlier that I imagine folks are eager to hear about.
Thanks, Jeff. It is awesome to see the way Teams and these new collaborative experiences are helping companies adapt to hybrid work. The way people work and communicate has changed. To adapt and stay relevant, companies need to create new applications and create quickly. As developers, we will need to build these new collaborative applications. In addition to creating new types of apps, we also need to adopt new tooling and new ways of developing apps. Whether you are building web, mobile, or collaborative applications, we need to find ways to go faster. And with the Power Platform, you can do just that. The Power Platform enables developers and IT professionals to create secure and modern solutions at speed. You can build custom solutions using the Power Platform's low-code and visual authoring tools, or you can use standard web dev tools in Visual Studio Code. Or you can do both, mixing and matching code and low code. The Power Platform enables developers to rapidly build apps and to easily surface business data to the right people in the right context and at the right time. And the Power Platform family is getting bigger. I am incredibly excited to welcome Microsoft Power Pages, the newest member of the Power Platform family. As a new standalone product, Power Pages is a low-code way to create data-powered, modern, and secure websites. You can start from scratch or leverage fully featured, customizable templates to suit your unique business needs. Or you can use Visual Studio Code for advanced capabilities like JavaScript, liquid templates, code components, and web APIs. Both low-code and pro-code are supported. And with its origins in Power Apps portals, Power Pages is a scalable platform already supporting tens of millions of users across all types of industries. I'd like to invite Sanya Singh, VP of Power Pages, to show us a quick demo.
Thank you, Charles. We just saw earlier how Lumen is using a combination of Microsoft Teams and Power Platform to drive innovation and engagement with their organization. Now let's take a look at how Lumen can use Power Pages to build and launch a secure website for their customers to better connect with their internal support teams. When I navigate to Power Pages for the first time, I'm guided through this quick, immersive onboarding experience. It gauges my website skill abilities, guides me through creating my first website. When I land on the home page, I can see all my sites that I've created nicely organized with these rich site cards with actions to open them in the Design Studio. I also have access to all of these several out-of-the-box templates in Templates Hub to start my site creation journey. The Learn Hub is my go-to place to access how-to videos, articles that will guide me through different stages of designing, building, configuring, and launching my site. Now let's open the site that I'm creating for Lumen customers in the Design Studio. The Design Studio is made up of 4 workspaces. You can see on the left rail that there are 4 workspaces: Pages, Styling, Data, and Setup. This first workspace that you're seeing is where I add my pages to the site. I can build professional-looking web pages by adding sections and several standard components like text, images, videos, and make inline changes to get to the look and content I want. The next web page uses more advanced component like this business data list I created in Data Workspace. It displays all the service tickets created by my customers. While I can start building my web page visually, access to the code is never far away. With this inline code editor, I can make pixel-perfect HTML edits to the web page. Let's navigate to the next workspace called the Styling Workspace. Here is where I apply site-wide color and font styling. The third workspace is the Data Workspace. Here is where I model, design, visualize business data, list and forms like the service tickets that I want to share and collect from my site visitors. And finally, to the Setup Workspace. I can configure advanced site-wide settings like how my customers will securely sign in. Now, as a developer, I'd like to work in the tools that are familiar to me. In this case, Visual Studio Code. With Visual Studio Code extensions and command line interface, I can quickly pull the site content locally to my machine. The website content is downloaded and structured in YAML and HTML, making site customization very intuitive to me. On the left side, you can see that all the site assets have been downloaded, including content snippets, list, form, tables, and web pages. Now, one of the benefits of working with Visual Studio Code is that I can add more complex controls that I've created to my site. Now here, I've created a custom form called the Ticket Details form. The site users will use this to create new service ticket. I can now add that to the form called Open Ticket Form. I have built-in support for Liquid, which is an open source markup language to embed dynamic content to my site. Now that I'm done with the site customization, let me use the command line interface to upload all my changes to the integrated development environment. I can finish this whole round trip from Visual Studio Code to the Design Studio with the changes that I've made to see them in action. Now let me go ahead and sync my changes here. After all the changes have been synced, I can navigate to the web page, open new ticket web page in the Pages workspace, and see my new custom form that I added from Visual Studio Code. Now the last step is to preview my site and make sure it's working as expected. By scanning this QR code, I can see the site rendered directly here on my phone. And the great thing about Power Pages, because it is Bootstrap UX framework based, it takes care of rendering a fully responsive mobile experience without you writing a single line of code. Now that was just a quick tour of Power Pages. Now with that, I will hand it over to you, Charles.
Thank you, Sanya. I am so excited for all developers, whether low code or code first, to start using Power Pages today to build modern, professional websites. Power Apps has always enabled low-code developers to quickly build web and mobile applications with drag and drop simplicity. And today, we are making UI design even more seamless. We are thrilled to announce that Express Design is now in public preview for Power Apps. By leveraging advanced AI models, you can upload a Figma, a PDF, a paper form, a screenshot of a legacy UI, or even a picture of your hand-drawn app, and Power Apps will convert it into a working app. The app includes a completed UI design built from your input and a back end already wired up. You just need to double check our AI, wire up any additional data from our over 650 data connectors or your Azure services, and deploy. That's all it takes to get started. Since Power Automate launched Robotic Process Automation, or RPA, in 2019, we have continued to make automation easy to include in every solution. Today, we are taking the next step in our journey with the preview of hosted RPA bots in Power Automate. Now it is easier than ever to deploy and manage unintended RPA bots across your solutions. We used to take days for IT to set up, now only takes minutes. Just set up basic parameters and the required bots will be added or removed automatically when your bots run, leveraging hosted virtual machines in Azure, just like Windows 365. And we are also taking conversational experiences to the next level with the evolution of Power Virtual Agents. Incorporating the Azure Bot Framework natively in Power Virtual Agents for the first time, developers can easily create inside an integrated chatbot building studio. Create topics graphically or with code, and with Power Effects, manipulate data to build more sophisticated logic. You can easily add images, videos, or adaptive cards within the canvas for rich responses by your chatbot. And with Azure Communication Services, you can interact over the phone, providing intelligent and conversational interactive voice responses. This is the biggest build ever for the Power Platform, and I have just whizzed through a bunch of new announcements, but there are dozens of other big releases today that ensure Power Platform is a great tool for developers. From introducing commenting across our Maker platform for easier collaboration, enabling version control via GitHub, to Power Apps Wrap for packaging and distributing Power Apps as native mobile apps on iOS and Android. And with our new pay-as-you-go model, you can get started with low code by connecting the Power Platform to your Azure subscription. You can get started with minimal friction and scale applications inside of Azure. In closing, we would encourage you to check out these breakouts and Into Focus sessions. They have deeper dives, great demos, and more news on collaborative app patterns and low code. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you have an awesome Build 2022. Back to you, Jeff.
Thanks, Charles. We are so excited to see what all of you build next with Microsoft Teams, the Power Platform, and the rest of the Microsoft Cloud to transform how organizations work with faster, composable, collaborative apps. Thank you again for joining us.